What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Mission Fishing Live podcast. How's everybody doing? Glad you can join us. Another beautiful day, another week of fishing. Hopefully, you guys are ready. Another weekend. It's still warm. Still a good time to get out there. We're transitioning into fall. So today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about fall fishing, what we can expect, what's going on, kind of look at the conditions. And there's obviously some regulation changes coming up and stuff like that. So we'll get into it. Of course, if you guys got any questions or comments or anything, let me know in the chat. And if I don't have the answers, a lot of times the guys in the chat will definitely have the answers for you there. But good to be with you. And yeah, see who we got, see what's going on before we get into it. Benji, Tomcat Moreno, number one. What's going on, Benji? Oos from Bullhead. Good evening. Doug Rubin. Good to see you, Doug. Captain Dan from Rancho Leonero. The MFC boys had a great time. No skunk for anyone. Yeah, I heard about that trip. So I've been seeing the guys have been sending me pictures. Brian likes to fish. The judge. I know they were out there fishing the submission jigs. Like, apparently, Eric, the judge layman, he was killing it on the 80 gram, and was funny because I guess he said he was fishing it the whole time, and then he gave one to the captain because he said he was doing so well. He sent me like pictures of all kinds of fish. And now he's coming back because I had an order from him, and he just ordered like a whole bunch of the 80 gram ogres, and I was like, yeah, they must have worked. I know Brian was out there fishing it too, so that's cool. And they're all headed back. Are you still out there, Dan? You staying a little while? That's a cool trip. I've never like gone down to fish Mexico like proper, like Baja, like stayed on the land. I've only ever gone in like on the boats and stuff like that. I've gone to the islands. I've gone offshore fishing a ton, but I've never been to like Guadalupe. I know they've closed that down for right, conservation or shark doing shark research or something like that. But what's the other one that everybody goes to? Not a Coronado. Gosh, I forget. We were all going to go last year and it fell through. But yeah, I've never like done the islands and the Baja and stuff like that. But that's definitely something I want to do. Seems like it's just always fish down there. Graham, what's going on? Oos, welcome to the show. Spinning Rod Rebel, Marvin, glad you could join us. Michael Tran, what's up? Salty, good to see you again. You didn't go down there, Salty? That's a shame. Looks like you're back. Travis, yo, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Real time, welcome to the show. Oos, who's going rock fishing tomorrow? Yeah, we got some updates on that stuff. No, tomorrow's technically the last day. So the 15th. So I think we get to fish tomorrow, and then that'll be cut off. Cave Dog, Cal, what's going on? Colton C, welcome. Alfredo Suarez, welcome to the show. Artemis, hey, what's going on, dude? Glad you could join us. See you guys out there. You guys check out their show, Time on the Water. On they do an Instagram show. I'm not sure if they're doing it on YouTube, but every Tuesday, I think at 6 p.m. they do a show. I was on there one time. It was a lot of fun. Those guys they put on some great stuff. Alex's real life. What's going on, my dude? How you been? The week. How you doing mentally and physically all around? I've been good, dude. Can't complain, just day by day. Just a lot of going on. I didn't actually fish this week, or I didn't fish last week. I was going to go out, but it was way too windy. What's going on, guys, on Instagram? If you want to check us out, you can hit us up on YouTube if you want to join the chat and stuff like that. I actually didn't fish this week. I was going to go out like last Saturday, but it was a little too windy. I didn't want to go for it. Then I was going to go this week, but it kind of fell through. Just got too busy. I know the tuna bluefin were going ham out there. If you guys seen some of that footage, dude, it's been crazy. Those tuna just sticking around. I don't think they leave all year. Dinks, Oos, what's going on? Welcome. I'm going on a 3/4 day on the Dolphin this coming Wednesday, going after dodos. What gram submission jig do you recommend? The 40 and 60 seem to be the ticket. I mean, even the 80 gram has been kind of a hot ticket if you need something a little bigger, but I think they've been eating a lot of smaller bait on the patties. Like the bait I've been seeing is like really tiny. And I don't think I have a 40, but yeah, the 40 and 60 gram, that's pretty much my go-to for patty fishing because they'll catch yellowtail, yellowfin, dodos, pretty much whatever you need. Benji Kim, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. We're on the hunt for wahoo tomorrow. Put up that pic I sent you earlier. Heck yeah, dude. You sent me a pic? Did you email it to me? I don't think I got it. Did you email it to me or did you text it to me? I'll double check that for sure. Oh, Cedros, that's what it was. Yeah, Cedros Island. I got to get out there. I always hear about like good things. It's crazy. See who else we got. Lalo Fish, welcome. Corey King, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Just got done with surf fishing session. Nice, dude. I bought some waders. Oh, I should have brought them. I got the. I took the investment. Got some waders. Got some boots. I need to get in there. So I figure if I spend some money, right, it's like I'll kind of be forced to do it because now it's like I got to look at all this expensive gear and not have an excuse to not use it. So I'm gonna get out there, go wade out in the surf, see if we can get on them. Should be fun. Chet Prack, what's going on, man? Glad you could join us. Iron Fish, 14-month membership. Congratulations. Thank you so much for all the support. You're the man. Danny Perez, what's up, dude? Welcome to the show. Glad you guys could all be here. If it's your first time on the show, if you see people typing "oos," it just basically means that they've liked the show. So if you like the channel, if you like the podcast, give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. Doesn't matter. It all helps the algorithm. I'll take it. But yeah, that especially if you've seen people type in "oos," it basically just means that they've liked the channel. So let's see here, get into it a little bit. And also, obviously, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, let me know in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer them. And if I can't, I guarantee you somebody on here can. Let's see. Story wise, there was, I guess, so this was 6 days ago. I don't think this was early. I know we had Benji on last week, so we didn't really get into too much of the news, but apparently Greenpeace was protesting Bumblebee. So Bumblebee seafood is out. They're actually in San Diego, for those of you guys that weren't aware, and they're down by the right there by Petco Park. And apparently there was a big protest. I feel like they weren't protesting, which is interesting. It was Greenpeace, but they were protesting. I think like labor, more like labor issues or something like that, as far as I can tell. But yeah, it was just a pretty funny story. It was like, because it was saying like the whole thing that the guys that did it, nothing happened. Is that they attempted to hand over like a large cardboard because they had so many signatures. I guess 51,000 signatures. Um, I guess they just refused to open the doors, and then the security guards asked them to leave or something like that. But um, yeah, so I think this was more of like a slavery thing. It's something like, which obviously I'm no fan of Greenpeace or any of these guys, but if it, I do support, obviously you shouldn't be having like slave labor. I think it was something like an Asian fish, but even from what I read, it was East Asia. They sampled 119 flagged ships, and they said 10% had violations on them. But I mean, realistically, what are we talking? 12, 12 ships out of 119 had violations. That's not that bad. I mean, you can go to 100 restaurants here and anywhere in America and find that many violations. But yeah, definitely nobody wants forced labor. I think that's what they were doing, which I was surprised. I thought they were going to be all upset about maybe the cannery or something like that. But yeah, Greenpeace was giving Bumblebee Foods the business. That happened like a week ago. Just thought it was interesting. It was down here in San Diego. I honestly didn't even know they were down there. But apparently that is definitely a thing. So if you guys are interested in that story, you can probably look it up and check it out. I think they have like a video or something, like some sort of anti-seafood thing. They like brought a ship in and they were only there for like an hour. I don't know. They're just doing their thing. One thing you can count on is if you're into fishing and you're into hunting, there's going to be a lot of people that really hate you. So just know that going forward. Even from the docks, even when you fish from the docks, man. I know if you fished enough, everybody's been yelled at. What's going on, guys? Everybody on Instagram. We're over on YouTube if you want to join us. But yeah, even if you fish the harbors or near the docks, people that own boats, I mean, you're going to get yelled at some point. And as long as you're legal and working within the confines of the law and you're respectful, there's no problem with that. Just keep fishing. Also, don't be intimidated by people. You have rights. It's actually illegal to harass fishermen and hunters. So just know that, guys. I know we did some shows on those in the past, but you do have rights as a fisherman. So Nobody can bar you from fishing where you can legally fish, even though a lot of people will try. Or they make people like make up the rules. You get that one a lot too. So it's good to be versed in the rules. A lot of people just make stuff up. Like, what's a good one? You're supposed to be 15 feet away from boats to fish. That's nonsense. That's one we hear a lot too. Like if you're fishing docks, and a lot of people like live in their boats, and they'll tell you you got to be so far away to fish, and that's not true either. The water is like all fair game. The docks you can't hit; those are private property. The boats, obviously. So I mean, don't be casting into boats and docks. I mean, that's how you're gonna piss them off. But as long as you're within your rights, just go ahead and do it. Let's see what we got here. You got new waders too? Need to get them? Yeah, I haven't had them in the water yet. I bought like some Sims. I know nothing about waders. They were just like kind of expensive, not the most expensive, but they weren't cheap. So I was like, they'll probably be good. I mean, I probably spent like, my wife's like, do you really need these? I'm like, honey, do I really need anything? No, but I'm gonna buy it at, I don't know. I probably spent like 300-400 bucks on like the waders and the boots. The boots are like just as much. It was crazy. So we'll see what happens. David Chrisman, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. I need a 100 and 150, 200-gram ogre. The Travis 2 and 300-gram ogres are completed, and they're on their way. We don't have 150, so we have the 80, and then we'll do a 200. So we'll have the 200, 300, 400, and we got some new colors. So you guys look into that. I said, everybody wants those lighter jigs, so we do have a 2 and 300 coming in, and we got all new paint. We actually are going to have the big ogres in the mackerel paint. This has been like one of our popular colors, so I'm pretty excited about that. We're gonna have a big one in this, and then two other colors. So I'll wait to show you those. They're pretty cool. I think you guys are gonna like them a lot. They're not any of the other colors that we have on the ogre going forward, so should be pretty cool. So we have the whole array. Yeah, man, that ogre slays, dude. It's such a good jig. Surf rig is old trout gear into the whole rig, less than $20. Shorts and t-shirts, sand crabs, nice surf perch in a 90-minute session. Heck yeah. I'm like, I gotta be honest with you. I'm a little bit of a what's going on, guys? I want to get my first striped bass, pelagic warrior. What's a good spot for striped bass in Southern California area? I couldn't help you out there. Even if I did, people would probably slip my throat if I told you, because striped bass is like a super. They are. I know they exist because people send me pictures. And I know people. You can go to my Instagram. People were catching stripers on the submission jigs. I think the 40-gram. I've never caught a striper. I'm just being totally honest with you, so I don't know where they are. Um, it's my understanding you can get them in the surf. I know they're kind of they're like brackish, right? I think they kind of go between salt and freshwater. So it's my understanding they're kind of in close to or where river kind of meets the saltwater. But people are very protective about the striper fishing, so it's really hard to even get people to open up about that. If I knew, I'd tell you, but I've never caught one. We definitely don't have them here in San Diego. Maybe like once in a blue moon, but I've never really seen anybody pull one out. I said, I know they've been around thick this year, no luck yet. Yeah, I've never tried to target them. You need to get some lings off the buff. Ling cods only. Yeah, dude. I've gotten some ling cods down here, but they're nothing like the NorCal lings. I've caught one legal in Mexico and then a couple shorts in like La Jolla. But yeah, I haven't had too much luck on like big like lings, Those NorCal ones they're pretty impressive. That and like the green lings, stuff like that. That's a super cool fishery. Lings are fun too because they're good jig fish. They love eating jigs. They're super aggressive. They come up and get them. But yeah, NorCal and Central California, that's definitely on my list of places I got to go for sure. There's so many places you got to go. I mean, that's the thing with fishing. It's like, it's really is never ending. there's always somewhere to go, something else to do, something else to catch. But I think that's what makes it great. You don't have to stay in the same pond catching for the same thing. If you guys want to join us, we're on YouTube, by the way. I'm probably shut the Instagram stream off in a little bit. Salty Dangler. Oh, new colors. Yeah, man. Two new colors. They're pretty awesome. One is like, I don't want to spoil it. You guys will see. We'll do a big reveal and stuff like that. So we'll do like a little marketing campaign leading up to it because I'm um, getting some like advanced ones ship over, and then they're getting packaged right now. I know because we changed some of the packaging and stuff too. So um, that put us a little bit behind. We're like relabeling stuff, rebranding a little bit, and then so like all the old packaging we couldn't use, so now we had to get like all new stuff printed, and just taking a little while longer, but we'll get them for sure. You have a pair of Sims, they're great. Yeah, I figured they were good. I mean, it's my understanding, like everybody says, like waiters always leak, and that's like at some point. I probably won't be using them that much. If I can get like, if they last me a couple years, I'll be happy. Try not to be too rough on them. Yeah, the Kens and Karens are everywhere. It's crazy, dude. Is that what we're calling them now? Kens? The male Karens? I'll stack some bluefin for those not sure. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. I don't have them. I have pictures of them, but I don't have any of the. I've got like some of the crappy prototype ones, but we'll wait till we get the final ones with like the final paint and the clear coat and all that stuff on them. Can't wait for my jig care package. Yeah, dude, send me your address. Or do you order some? Yeah, right. Striper. Yeah, that's what I've heard, dude. Nobody's gonna tell you. You know what's the equivalent to the striper fishing is that's like the Corvina fishing down here. It's like nobody nobody talks about Corvina fishing. I don't think it's as secretive because like you can just go off of like I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to piss anybody off, but they're not that really hard to find. They run. You just got to catch them when they're running through. But yeah, people are like the same way with Corvina. It's like a big, it's their big secret like stripers too. I caught a juvenile striper in Carlsbad on the micro jig. Really, dude, that's crazy. I guess they are down here. Shows what I know. I got a few 10-gram jigs today, and my sister wanted them for earrings. I told her to get her own. Yeah, just tell her to take the hooks off, or you can leave them off, but cut the barb and the spike off. Maybe that'll be my next venture. Jewelry. I'm sure it'd be a hot seller. I'm sure people would be all over it. I'd only have to make like 5 to sell out. Let's see here. I know we had some more news stories. Um, there was this one of note. There was. Let's see if I can share it here. Captain Dan, curious what you think about this one. There was because I know you're into like the commercial fishing and stuff like that. There's a federal grant to help revive San Diego fishing and the Marketing Association. Apparently, it's like a nonprofit. Federal grant will be used to revive a nonprofit, increase local fishing purchasing, grow San Diego's anglers' percentage of profits, and raise the total profile of local fishing community for years to come. Plans are underway to revive San Diego Fishermen's Marketing Association. There we go. It's a nonprofit, mostly inactive since 2013. Thanks to grants from the U.S. Department of Agricultural Marketing, Sales, and part of a local food promotion program, the San Diego Fishermen Working Group and the San Diego Regional Policy and Innovation Center are driving the latest effort with a network of partners. So that's pretty cool. I didn't really know this was a thing. Like I said, I guess it's been active since like 2013. I'm not really sure what they do, but if it helps, the fishery, I think that's good. Surprising it got federal money. I mean, usually um, they're not too kind to fishing and stuff like that. So I'll take it, man. I think that's definitely a win for sure. Um, Getting any kind of recognition, but hopefully it works. Hopefully they can make something out of it. I just hope it doesn't. They get the money it's around and they burn through it and they don't exist. Hopefully they get some money, make it work, and could really make something out of it. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So check that out. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it news wise. Bumblebee tuna and some federal grants. Aside from that, not too much going on. I guess no news is good news, right? Because it's unfortunately in the fishing, it's if you're in the news, it's usually not for good. Every now and then, somebody's catching a world record or something. Like I can't say it's always bad news, but one good story. I can't complain. Normally, it's like boat sinking or like people dying or getting pulled overboard or something. So can't complain. Spotty Bull, what's going on, Eric? We're just talking about you, man. Saying hi. Glad you could join us. I'm going to turn off the Instagram stream. If you guys want to join us, we're going to be on YouTube. So come find us there. And yeah, come join the chat. We'll see you guys later. Jeremy, welcome to the show. Or should I say, President Trump, Mugshot Trump. Glad you could join us. Let's see. Are any of your lures like the sumo you recommend for spotties? Like the assassin, which is the other micro one. I actually probably use these more than the sumo. I know a lot of people. The sumo I think is definitely more popular. It's like definitely the unique. I probably use the assassin more. It's not like the sumo. It's a micro jig. It works the same way, but it's a totally different profile. It's more flat. It's slow. It falls slower. It wobbles. The reason I make different profiles too is because instead of changing the size of the bait, like if you're not getting bit on one, usually I'll switch between the two. They have two completely different falls, um, and disruptions in the water and the way that they act. That's why I made two that are like really contrasting. Like the sumo's a faster, kind of a torpedo fall. This one's a lot slower, kind of helicopter. So depending what they want, I feel like the sumo gets more of a reaction bite. Like when the fishing's hot, they just come up and smoke it. And I feel like the assassin is like slower when they're a little more finicky. Um, I feel like the assassin actually works a little better. Like when the bite's hot, sumo's like they're all over it. But yeah, changing up the profile I think is more important than changing the size. I think one mistake we make is we just change the size of lures, right? If you're using the same profile, it might not be the size that matters. It's the fill in the water. You know, the lateral lines is usually what they're filling. They usually sense it coming down and they can sense the motion and then they'll see it real quick and then just do like a reaction bite. So it's good to have two different styles. At least that's kind of my theory of making different styles instead of just like similar ones, you know, down the line. But yeah, check out the assassin. Oh yeah, so just tried hard to get away from the sumos when they work so damn good. The 10 and 15 are my confidence. Yeah, if they're working, stick with them. You know, obviously. But I've been in situations where like the usually I'll try both. Like if the sumo's working, I'll stick with it. Sometimes if I'm throwing it and I'm throwing it though and I'm not getting bit, I'll switch to like the assassin. Sometimes they bite both. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes they like one or the other, but it doesn't hurt to have two different profiles. They fall completely different, even though you fish them the exact same way. Um, two totally different actions on the way down. But give them a shot. A lot of people like them. I know Brian. Brian likes to fish. That dude's won Spotty Bowl like every year it's been in existence, and he fishes the orange one. He likes the orange 15 gram and the assassin. I don't think he fishes really the sumo at all. Dude wins tournaments all the time. But then Chet Prack, that dude won, and I know he fished the sumo a lot, and he won the Weekend Warriors division of Spotty Bowl. So it's hard to say. They both work. What rig and line you guys throw the tiny sumos and assassins in the surf? Sumo at the docks and assassin in the open water structure. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's good stuff. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so let's get into the rock fishing a little bit. I know some of you guys were talking about this. I saw on the thing. So, and I know I hit this 2 weeks ago. And what you have to understand, so our rock fishing, for those of you guys that are new, I know I've talked about this quite a bit. We'll just refresh you. So tomorrow is the last day that you can fish for nearshore rockfish. Our season used to be March 1st to the end of the year, basically December 31st or January 1st is when it technically closed. We had a 3 month closure, but then you can fish rockfish. The caveat was you can only go 600 feet deep, and you had to stay within like a what's called like the federal boundary. Now, starting tomorrow will be the last day, and you just won't be able to fish near shore fish, but slope rock fish and was it what they call it, shelf and slope rock fish are you can still fish for, but the near shore stuff you won't. So it's kind of confusing. And I actually found the map. I don't, dude. The If you try to find anything on like the fishing games website, it's absolutely crazy. And I'm gonna put it in the chat here. I'm going to bring it up on my thing. So there is an actual boundary line that exists. Basically, when you go on the site, there's a bunch of waypoints that they give you in coordinates, and they create a line of where you can actually fish. But I did find it on their official site too. So we'll bring this up and we'll go over it real quick. Okay, so this is the Rockfish Conservation Area 50 fathom line. So it's this blue line right here. So this is a bunch of waypoints that are connected. Now this is actually from the California Fish and Wildlife site. So you see this line here, this blue line. When they just give you the waypoints on the site, this is what it looks like when they're all interconnected. So going forward, after tomorrow, you cannot fish from this line shoreward. So from this line going toward end, you can no longer fish for rockfish. You can fish outside this area for the shelf and slope rockfish, but even at the islands too, you can see. So from the line shoreward, no more rock fishing after tomorrow. So you guys just have to be aware of that. Now, what's new is you can fish out. We can continue to fish that up until the end of the year, like we have. So now it's March 31st, where it used to be March 1st. So March 31st, all the way up until December 31st, we can still fish outside these boundaries um, for the fish. It gets even more confusing because there's a list of fish on the nearshore fishing that you just can't keep. So when you're within that line, it's a lot of like tree fish and like perch and stuff like that. Like think like the rubber or the China fish. There's a bunch of fish here, but I think if you catch those even outside that boundary, I don't believe you can keep them. So you can't keep any of the nearshore fish that they consider near shore, no matter where you fish them. Now the other fish, the bocaccio, um, the reds, and all that, they still exist inside that line, but now you can no longer catch them inside that line. You have to be outside. So you gotta look at the list of fish you're fishing for and just be aware. So unless you're gonna go get on them tomorrow, no more fishing coastal for the rockfish. And I put that link in there, guys. So dude, it took me like an hour to find that thing, digging through all the sites because I'd seen it before and I could not find it. But that's the actual line that they're talking about when you see it in the near shore um, fishing category. So definitely check that out. Save it. Do what you got to do with it. And if you need the waypoints, they're on the site. California Fishing Game. You can find them under Southern California Rockfish Regulations. So if you need the actual numbers, you can look it up because obviously that line is just kind of gives you a reference point. I would say just go make sure you're far enough from it. Otherwise, we will have to look up the coordinates and see where you are within the line. But don't even bother really riding the line. Just make sure you're far enough out. Leonard Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. Like, is the 9? Because I couldn't find a map, and I didn't have time to like look at the waypoints. Because I know here's Coronado, right? In Mexico, it doesn't matter, guys. So you can still fish into Mexico. So if you want to go to the South Nine or anything lower than here, that's not a big deal. Obviously, it doesn't affect Mexican waters, but is this the upper nine right here? It's hard to say. I was trying to like I said, there's no landmarks on this thing. It's just like some stupid lines that they put on there, which I guess is better than nothing. I'll have to actually pull up the coordinates and see. I feel like some of the nine is open, but a lot of it I think is it's like half of it you can fish, half of it you can't. It's really hard to tell, right? Which is crazy. Like the nine's like so deep. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to tell from that thing. I'll have to like put it up on a one of my actual charts and see where it is. Maybe I'll do that for like the next show. Make sure we're safe and can fish that area. This is my first fall signing an SD. What kind of action should I expect from fall into winter? Yeah, we're about to get into that. Mary Haas, Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. What about Mexican water? Yeah, dude, go ham. No regulations in Mexico. They've got like cow cod regulations. Like they've got their own things. Some things like in Mexican water, like we have 2 hook limit for rockfish that hasn't changed. Mexico, I think you can fish 3 hooks, 3 or 4. I don't know, more than 2. I know you can definitely do 3. Um, it might be 4, but and there's never been depth limits in Mexico to my understanding. So um, yeah, you can still go into Mexico. So once you just cross that line, that's what I'm saying. So the 9, you can go to the 9 mile bank as long as you're on the Mexican side, and you can push out a little further. But yeah, luckily it's just a U.S. thing, and luckily we're close enough to Mexico. You can get in there if you want. That was kind of the hack that we used to do for fishing rockfish. So like if you guys ever saw like sport fishing, like what's that site I use, the sportfishingreports.com or whatever, and you would see boats coming back with rockfish during the winter, like January, February, and you'd be like, how? Because they were going down into Mexico and getting rockfish. So, and that's always been a hack too. If you've got your own boat and you find yourself in the period where you can't fish rockfish here, just go south, and then you can get on them. Sucks though if you're on a kayak. That's really who it's going to hurt. I mean, I think that's what's unfortunate. Kayak fishermen really get the short end of the stick here because it's pretty impractical. You're not going to paddle out that far in a kayak to go get the slope and shelf rockfish. You're pretty much stuck to fishing the nearshore stuff, but you can't now. Like that's a short season. They already took a month away, but for the nearshore stuff, I mean, they took a big chunk out of it. It's only September, October, November, December. That's like half the year. That's a lot. That's a long time. They took an extra 4 months out of the nearshore fishing. It used to only be 3 months, and they took another 4 out of it. So that's less than half the year that we only get to fish nearshore rockfish. But I do like the more open regulation. I do like that they opened up the rest of the water that we used to not be able to fish. So I guess small victories. We can't have our cake or eat it too here in California, unfortunately. But there was some good out of it. I think they did help us out a little bit. Only for boaters though. And if you're fishing from shore, you can keep the fish and spear fishing. So that's only by boats and like kayaks. So only the hook and line you're not allowed to when you're on the water. But if you can catch them from shore, and there are parts in La Jolla where you can do that, and if you're spearfishing, the fish are open to you. I believe that's a year-round thing. So it's really only for boats. DJB, what's going on? A bit late, but I'm glad you're here. Muto, feel free to share and promote the Coho photo I sent with you. I'm grateful for the full publishing rights. I'll grant the full publishing rights. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, this guy caught a. I think we did share that on Instagram. He caught that coho salmon on the. I think it was the 40-gram sumo up in Alaska. But yeah, that thing was badass. It was funny. I thought you were somebody else because somebody just sent me an email recently where they were slaying all kinds of salmon on the jigs too. Like they sent me a whole bunch of pictures. Like you guys that's awesome. But yeah, we did share that coho. I think it was last week. That fat boy that you caught on the sumo. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on Instagram. That was his catch. Thanks for sending me that, dude. I really appreciate it. Outside that line is greater than 300 feet. Mostly, probably not everywhere, but it probably is. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you. I mean, that's the line that they designated. So, but looking at it, yeah, California gets deep pretty quick. I'd be willing to bet outside that's probably deeper than 300 feet. The website shows sold out for the orange 15-gram pumpkin, assassin, and sumo. Yeah, there is a restock coming. I know Brian buying them all. They're coming in with the new ogres, the 200 and 300 gram ogres, the new colors. What else are we getting? God, we just had a stock of those too, and they've already sold out. But we do have more coming, a lot more, and I'm trying to think. We've got some other stuff coming too. Yeah, but we've got another shipment on the way. We've pretty much got one coming in all the time now. Trying to keep up on stock. Bring an electric. Nah, come on, Cal. Electric reel. No, electric reels do help. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna shame anybody for doing it. I feel like 750 feet. I can do no problem. I'll do it raw with. I'll hand crank it. Deeper than that, me and Kevin did fish a. I think we fished 1,300 feet. We were looking for the black gills, which are like some of the best eating fish, and we did find them. And I think they were like 1,000 to 1,200 feet, and we did have an electric reel for that. That was just too much. Yeah, man. There is one with a layer, but it doesn't have the. I don't know. It's talking about the government, dude. it's, it's not. Nothing they do is intuitive. It's like it's what's weird is all the information is there somewhere, but it's not in like an actual cohesive, like practical spot to find it. It's just they make it as hard as possible. But anyways, yeah. So then we got like what you guys are talking about. So fall fishing. We're almost in fall. Summer's what is fall? June or not June? September 21st. Usually, it's right there in like the early 20s. So we're coming up on fall. Summer's almost over. What can we expect to do? What can we expect to find? Luckily, the fishing has still been pretty good. The water's been super warm. Like a lot of people have commented on, I have too on the show, is that we're about a month behind or so. It seems like temperature wise, we had lots of cold temperatures, water temp. When I'm talking about, I feel like even just general temperature in general has been lower this year. But the fishing that we're seeing, the Dorado and the yellowfin and stuff like that, they're about a month behind what we were last year. This time last year, I feel like it was already on the tail end. Like we got the dodos and stuff way early, and now at the end of September, we were already kind of like dying out. And we had to go really, really, really far to find these things. They had already come north and then made their way back down. This year, we're kind of just now getting into what it was like in like August of last year that we're getting in September. So I think we're going to have another month, probably even into October, where it's going to be pretty good. Water temperature is warmer now than it has been. It's still like 75 in some places, 74, which is really huge. I know we had that hurricane and then that helped push it up. And then we've had some other storms and just warm fronts pushing that warm water in. So even though it's late and we're going into fall, the warm water is still definitely here. What's interesting is I've been looking at the fish counts and like I don't know if the Dorado fishing is like dried up. Like I haven't gone out. Usually I go out every week, and I got a pretty good idea about what's going on. I didn't make it out last week, so when I just look at Dorado numbers from like a lot of the like dock totals is how I'm kind of judging it. People they're still getting them, but very small. Yellowfin tuna has been like the ticket. So I don't know if the Dorado. I don't know if they're there and they're not biting, or if they've moved on. You're still seeing some numbers. Some of the like the longer range trips are still getting on them, but like the day boats were crushing the Dorados. They were limiting out like probably for a good 3 weeks every time they went out. Now I'm seeing the numbers and it's like they're getting 2, 5, maybe some are pulling 10 with like 30 people on the boat. That's not very many. But the yellowfin tuna has been really good. So I don't know if the yellowfin came in and replaced the dodos because normally, like I've talked about, the yellowfin makes the Dorado bite better because they got to compete for the bait. But I don't know if the dodos just took off, or if they're just there and not biting. But we do have yellowfin now. Yellowtail fishing's been good, been crazy. I think some of the best yellowtail fishing I've seen here in Southern California in a couple years. But yellowfin, and then the bluefin. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the footage of like the aerial trams, not the aerial trams, like the plane that does the stuff for is that like fish dope and the spotting planes, man. And it was, and other people on Instagram were posting pictures, but it was just like the bluefin had been going off, boiling really close, in between like the islands and here, the sort of that warmer water. Bluefin, I don't think ever leave anymore. We're pretty much catching bluefin year round, and it seems like the past 2 years, 2 3 years, um, the bluefin don't go anywhere. They go out deep to like Cortez and Tanner, um, off the backside of Clemente, or they're coming in and they're foaming right outside of Carlsbad and Oceanside and Dana, or then they go back and dip into Mexico a little bit. But freaking bluefin have just like, they do not disappear, and they've been going absolutely nuts. And I think there's been yellowfin mixed in there too, and that's probably been accounting for a lot of the yellowfin numbers as well. And that's what's weird too, is seeing the yellowfin are running. They've had a truce with the bluefin, and they've been running the tuna gang working together. Really weird stuff, but yellowfin are here, so I think we can expect that a little more. Looks like the Dorado fishing. I don't, like I said, if you guys have been out, let me know. So I don't know if they're, because that happens too, where you see the Dorado and they're just not biting. So I don't know if that's the case, or if they're just gone. So if you guys have been out and you got any eyes on that thing, let me know. So I'm curious what the situation is. I'll be out there this weekend. I'm sure I'll go offshore. Um, I'll find some patties myself. I'll see what's going on. See if we even just see any dodos. The yellowfin. So yeah, I mean, by all accounts, it looks like fall fishing should still be pretty good. Looks like the yellowfin is going to be the answer. And then that goes for bay fishing too. And when we talk about bay fishing, those of you guys that fish like San Diego Bay, Mission Bay, and stuff like that, a lot of bay fishing heats up, but sometimes, I know it's counterintuitive, is that sometimes the water gets too warm for the bay fish, and you got to know how to find them as well. So it's not just like, oh, the warmer the water gets, the better the fishing gets. When it comes to the offshore, that's the case. The pelagics can go deeper. They can move slight areas and get into colder, warmer water, however they want. They try to go with the warmer water, but if they, too close to the sun and stuff, they could always go down deeper, and it's not that big of a deal. When you're dealing with bay fishing, give you guys some tips, is that sometimes it actually can be too warm, and the water can be too warm because it's so shallow. So when you're looking for spotties, and stuff like that, when you're fishing like during the day, look for shaded areas, because they'll actually, just like people, they'll move. So find out where the sun is, see which way the shadows are being cast, whether that's in a dock, or you see like a piling or a buoy. Fish on the shady side of these things on the hot days in the sun, because if you're in 10, 15 feet of water, they're not going to be chilling just out in the middle of the sun. It's actually going to be too hot. So they'll move to the shaded areas of the water. Even though the water temp is relatively the same, they're not getting the same rays coming off the sun. So if you're fishing the bays and you're not having any bites, and it's like one of these hot sunny days, and the water's warm, go check out some of the shaded areas. Also, the spotties, they're prone to move deeper too. So that's like the only way that they sort of like trout, is that in the winter they push out to the shallow ends to where it's warmer, even though they live in freezing temperatures. The trout, sometimes the lakes ice over, they still live there. They'll go wherever the water is warmer. Sometimes they'll push out to the corners, where there's more sun and it's a lot more shallow because it heats up more. When the summer comes and it gets too hot, they'll move to the middle of the lake. So then they all congregate to like the deepest area. So spotties too will move. They'll try to find grass and stuff like that. So if you can find grass or structure like in the deeper areas in the channels, you can find spotties there. I mean, I've picked them off on right out there in America's Cup in like 40, 50 feet of water. And usually right around this time when it's like hotter in the middle of the summer. Same thing in tidelands too. You go over by that seawall where they always kick you off if you're fishing too close, where it's like 40, 45 feet deep. You get some decent sized spotties there too. So try shaded areas if you think it's too hot. That's just something I've experienced in the past. Is that the warm in the bays isn't always necessarily like a golden ticket. They are there, but you're gonna think, oh, it's warm. They're just gonna be popping off. Look in the shade. If you're not finding them and you've been fishing all day, go check out some shaded zones. So it's just a little tip I wanted to share with you guys. Amen. Shade is the key for the jigs. Yeah. In the winter, yeah, and it's reversed, right? In the winter, sometimes they'll be in the sun to heat up. So if you know the water's really cold, um, check the sunny side of things. It's like anything. The fish, they're cold blooded and they have to regulate their temperature based on their environment. Um, so they're not just always in the same place. You're not always going to find them in the same place. So if you're in extremely cold water and I fish all winter. A lot of you guys fish in the winter. Um, go look for sunnier side of the docks and stuff like. It seems like in the winter, they push into the docks more, and then it seems like summer and then spring when they start to spawn, they tend to move out into like the grass and then the deeper zones. I mean, they're still in the docks, but I feel like they push out a little further. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought you had the barbless hook for salmon. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe they changed the hooks. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, he was in Alaska. See, you guys, man, you guys are already on it, answering the questions before I get to them. I'm like, I live in the past when I'm on the stream though, because I come back and I look at the answers and it's like stuff you guys been talking about for like 10 minutes. I was in Alaska. Don't need to be barbless, but I did crimp mine since I was fishing, catch and release. That's awesome, dude. Oscar said, "Yeah, I saw you went out, huh? I saw no Dorados, no bluefin tuna, but did get a 28 pound yellowfin. Yeah, yellowfin. I feel like is the yellowfin's the ticket right now for sure. I think we can expect that probably until fall. So maybe Dorado pushed out. I mean that maybe that's they've had enough. The tuna came in and they moved on. Last year they went to like Northern California. I think they were like up to Oregon. Super crazy. Sammy Pro Moose, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Yeah, barbless. So barbless is a California rig. Yeah, you're right. I know I fish in Alaska and we were catching like yellow eye rockfish. It was perfectly legal. We took them home with us. Really good too. They were pretty big. And those are fish like you can't catch down here. Give Dog says I went offshore on the Grande last week. Oh, red tide affected the Dorado all the way out of the Cortez Bank. Man, really? Dude, that's insane. But we did get some. They had red tide that far. I forgot about the red tide. I'm glad I didn't go out then. Man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there was some new study. I was going to put that in the news too, but I wasn't sure how interested you guys were into plankton and the red tide and stuff. But there was like some new study, and they found like they can swim the plankton that caused like the algae bloom. They swim back and forth like throughout the day or something. Like in the day, they go up to photosynthesize in the sun, and then at night they swim back down to get the nutrients of the water. And they do it so fast for plankton, like it's really slow. It takes them like hours, but it's like they're able to do it vertically. They go up and down, and that's what causes the bloom. It was like some new thing that I just read it today, but maybe I'll put that in the show next week if you guys are interested in that. For the other guys that know, it's like the red tide is algae bloom. It's toxic. It's bad. Kills fish. Mostly it sucks the oxygen out. So once it gets in their gills and stuff, they can't breathe. And you don't want to be in it either. That's why it shut surfing down. They shut beaches down. And I knew it was here. That comes and goes, but man, I didn't think it was that far. I mean, Cortez is like, that's crazy far. That's nuts. Sammy says, "Amen. The shade is the key for the jigs." Yeah, the key is to just find out. Like, one trick I do for like spotty fishing is when you catch one, instead of just like catching it and moving on, like Brian calls it the pattern, right? And he's right. It is document how you caught it and document the conditions. Like, was it shady? Was it sunny? Was I on the north side? Was I on the south side? And a lot of times the fish will stay in the same conditions. Was I drifting into the current? Was I paddling into it? And if you can try to replicate that, then if you catch like three fish, you kind of know where they're going to be like throughout the day instead of just throwing a random. So whenever you catch one, catch a spotty, like make a mental note of exactly where you caught it and what it looked like, and then go try those same conditions in another spot and see if it works. Yeah, instead of just like trying a bunch of areas that aren't producing. Got a 3 on the Pegasus next week. 4 trip this year. No more bluefin for me, thanks. I'll take my limits of yellowfin. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, dude. Like I like fishing bluefin, but if you've got enough big bluefin, like you're usually good for a year. At least I am. And it's not only that, it's to me, it's the bluefin fishing is like it's I think I've caught like 4 or 5. I've had a good run of bluefin this year, but it's like it's not even the fish itself. Just bluefin fishing is it's a lot of late nights. Sometimes it's a finicky bite. It's like it's a grind sometimes, man. It's and then when you catch them, it's like they kick your ass. All you need is a few. Say you've done it. I mean, one fish that's like around 100 pounds. You're gonna eat the whole year. But I feel that yellowfin. I think yellowfin are like some of my favorite fish to catch, especially the smaller ones, like those 50 pounders, 30, 20 pounds. Dude, they're great. Yellowfin, they eat jigs like crazy, even during the day. Maybe that's why I like them so much. Like bluefin, hard jig fish, hard to eat jigs during the day. They usually only want live bait. Yellowfin will typically eat freaking anything like during the day. They eat the jigs, which I really like. That's what kind of makes them fun. They're good fighters still, good eating. I mean, ahi. A lot of people like them a lot more than bluefin tuna. But yeah, I mean, I say the same thing about bonito though too. I think bonito is like the most underrated fish we have. If you guys have never caught like a big bonito, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you catch even the little rats, like the small ones, dude, they're fun as hell in like light gear. If you catch like a 5-10 pound bonito, 15 pounder, dude, they smoke, man. And they're fun as hell to catch. And they're good to eat. I'm on Team Bonito for sure. Uh Went on the news San Mateo last week, only one yellowtail on the boat, and it was mine. Hell yeah, Sammy, that's what we like. The bite shut down the day for our trip. It's fishing, dude. Yeah, me too. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't be out if there's red tide. I'll have to double check. I have not seen the sky. Oh, crazy jet trail. Maybe it was the aliens from Mexico, dude, trying to get back home. Not the illegal aliens, the the real aliens. Did you guys see that from Mexican government was like had some little press conference with like some aliens or something. This world's going mad, dude. So we can tell lobster. Yeah, lobster season is coming up. I know I covered that last week. So your lobster cards are on sale. You guys can definitely get those. Be ready to go. Sashimi, yeah, man. Sashimi, everything. Yellowtail, yellowfin, bluefin, bonito. Rockfish, I don't eat raw, but pretty much everything else. Even mahi, I've eaten raw. I don't like cooked fish. I like raw fish a lot more for sure. Except for rockfish, then I'll cook it. Oh, SpaceX launch tonight. Nice, dude. I didn't check it out. Let's see what else we got on here. If I missed anything. Yeah, I think that was it. Like I said, I think it'll be a good fall going into winter, and then get the rockfish done. We should be good. We're all the way. Yeah, Benji knows. Benji knows what's up. Something about the raw fish is way better than cooked, with a few exceptions. But you could probably eat anything. I heard one time. I don't know if this is BS, but somebody was saying you can eat like anything from the ocean raw, and I was kind of thinking about it. Like I've seen raw scallops. You could eat like abalone. You probably could. Like somebody said, like you could eat anything from the ocean raw, like safely, as long as it's not like poisonous or something like that. I don't know if that's true. Probably makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, so Kevin's back, so I think we're probably gonna go fishing with him this week. He's been out in Florida. He's like turned into Florida, man. I saw him yesterday. Kevin Nakata fishing reps. His hair was like all wild. Dude growing the beard. Looked like he got some miles put on him. Once a Californian goes to Florida, dude, it changes a man. It was pretty funny. But yeah, we might go out. He was going to be on the show today, but I think maybe next week we'll have him on the show. He'll talk to us about his exploits and stuff like that and what he's got going on. So I think it'll be good stuff. You should do a Christmas special edition mini jig. Dude, that'd be fire with like the with little dots, like the little ornaments on it, like painted on. That's a good idea, dude. Yeah, we had a good reception to that last special edition one. Um, so I think that'd be cool doing something like I think I'll just leave the special editions up, and then when they go, they go. But I'll leave the list on so then you can see like what the past special editions were, and if people really like one, maybe in like down the line we can bring it out. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. I'll have to do that, dude. That's a pretty good idea. And like a July 4th one or something. Maybe not the bait barge, Sandy's. They're full of worms. Oh yeah, to eat raw. I've eaten bait barge Sandy's before. I don't know if I've had not that many. Like every now and then I'll keep one. It's probably been a year or two, but I've kept them from there before. I haven't found a worm one there. I mean, I have caught fish with worms in it before. A lot of bocaccio. A lot of times I'll throw them back if I can see it, but I haven't had a wormed sand bass yet. But yeah, I'm not surprised. That's the thing too with like warm water. Like like in Florida, you know, the water's like, dude, almost 90 degrees out there. They don't eat like, so they have amberjack, which is like pretty much the same thing as the yellowtail. But nobody eats them over there because they've got some bacteria or disease or something because the water's so warm. Um, like the meat, like the parasites and stuff are a lot, and like fungus and all kinds of crazy stuff is a lot more rampant in the warm water in Florida. So there's some fish out there that like they don't eat just because the water's so warm, which is kind of crazy, right? Imagine like cold-blooded fish when you kill it, its meat's already like 90, 80 plus 90 degrees because that's the water that they're living in. We catch fish out here and it's like even deep. You get a rockfish 60 something degrees. That's pretty cold. Yeah, it's kind of funky out there. It's like trash fish. Who bought the most Dodo special editions? Um, I don't remember. Somebody bought like four of each, I think. Or somebody bought. There was a couple of people that bought like multiples for sure. I probably to fish some and to save some. Yeah, I don't know who it was, but nobody bought like 10. There was a couple like 4 pluses definitely on each one. Yeah, you got two each definitely. You gonna keep them or fish them? Keep two, fish two. They slay, dude. Sammy's been fishing them. He don't care. Chet did. Oh, did you buy like four? Hell yeah, Chet. But you've been fishing them, dude. I got to get going. Great show as always. Yeah, man. Benji, thanks for stopping by. If you guys check out Benji's channel, he was on the show last week. Benji Kim, known for surf fishing, but he just does fishing all around. Check out our show last week. He was our guest, and then I was a guest on his show. But if you guys want to surf fish, definitely check out Benji's show. He's the man. Keep two, fish two. Yeah, there you go. Heck yeah, you guys are the best. All right, guys, I'll let you get going. It was a pleasure having you here. Um, yeah, I'll see you next week. If you guys have any questions, comments, always hit me up on Instagram or YouTube. Text me. Hit me up to the website. However you want to get a hold of me. If you guys want your own submission jigs, you can get them on submissionfishing.com or go to Fishing Reps. He's got a dealer finder you guys can put in there. So if you want to see if there's a dealership near you, Dana Landing's pretty well stocked. They just did another big order, so we'll be dropping one off to them. They're a big vendor out here in San Diego. And yeah, guys, go get them. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. And yeah, go get bit, go fish. Hopefully it's good conditions. We'll see what happens out there. And yeah, going into fall, let's get it done, guys. Get those black belts in fishing. Till next week. Thank you all for joining. Oos.